And please keep watching Souk News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, Souk News, keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching Souk News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
My name is Shino Gbadegeshi. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch Souk News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souk News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch Souk News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching Souk News, okay? Stay updated with Souk News.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME Banking. Please keep watching Souk News and stay glued to Souk News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch Souk News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souk News.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekbetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State, on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is Souk business landscape. Welcome back. The federal government has given Air Tanzania Company Limited a foreign charter operation permit, allowing the airline to begin direct flight between Dar es Salaam and Lagos. Aviation Ministry Permanent Secretary Ibrahim Abubakar Kana said the move will improve efficiency, meet global standard, and boost Nigeria-Tanzania aviation cooperation. In line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's regional integration agenda, Nigeria Civil Aviation Authorities Yinka Babaoye confirmed an MOU will mandate Air Tanzania to upload passenger data into the Avitech portal. Tanzania's High Commissioner Celestine Gavas said the partnership will improve Africa's weak regional connectivity, with flights set to start after all regulatory approvals are complete. Here we are. Before we went on a very short break, we were looking at connecting African countries to African countries and how difficult it's been. And expensive also. For some particular countries, it's more expensive flying to Europe than flying to countries that are not that too far away. For some, you have to connect from North Africa. For some, you have to go to Europe to connect them, African countries. How positive and how fast should this go?
Well, for me, it's this is nice, but what will make it sustainable in the long run is the level of traffic on the route. I haven't been to Tanzania myself, so I don't know how busy the route is. Because what will make airlines connect easily is that people are trading volume, really, to see have a number of flights that can do on a single day, for example, to that destination. And when the aircraft is coming here is full, and it's going back is full, and no resource is wasted. So that will what is make it quite very profitable. But if at the end of the day you have an agreement and there are not so many people who are moving from here to another place, then there's a big issue. Except that, of course, we also see that people can then, of course, transit from Tanzania, for example, to other places, or transit from Lagos to other places within Africa or Europe. So that's the only way to make that route really very lucrative.
Okay, before I move to prayer, also look at Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, Togo, and now there's a direct flight to Tanzania, directly from Nigeria. So it can also serve these other close brothers of ours.
Yeah, but the direct flight to Ghana from Nigeria.
To Tanzania.
So my take is, yeah, flights are there, people want to fly. The airport facilities are there. But what will determine whether people will run that route?
Numbers.
Is the numbers.
Okay. Seychelles, another example. Small, beautiful country. But to connect Seychelles, we don't have that direct flight.
Okay.
What should Africa start looking at aside we breaking down borders and connecting rail for trade and all that? How can we start making aviation business big amongst African countries?
Why is Tanzania looking at Nigeria, Lagos? Why are they looking at us? Why are they establishing such relationship? In May, June this year, excuse me, the Ethiopia Airline and Ethiopia Airline Group, partnered with the African Development Bank, and they got about $500 million for initial mobilization to establish one of the biggest aviation hubs in the continent of Africa, in Ethiopia, that is running to $10 billion. And they're in partnership with the African Development Bank. African Development Bank is not only coming in as a partner, but it's also going to serve as the one who will be belling the cart in mobilizing that fund for the realization of that project. What are they looking at? They're looking at, first of all, 60 million passengers and travelers across the continent of Africa, with the perspective of expanding it to 100 or 110 million passengers in the future. Why are they doing that? Ethiopia Airline is one of the airlines that are doing well, not only in the continent of Africa, but somewhat competitive too when you look at it globally. So they are putting in their money, or they are consolidating their business and their investment in that specific industry. They've looked at the African market, and that they are big. In fact, I think they are the biggest players when you look at the African market, including that of the South African Airways. But they actually want to come in there, and they've taken over it, and the market is here in Nigeria. We have the population. DRC equally have the population. South Africa equally have the population, and some other countries within the continent of Africa where you can see their population are above 100 million people. Whilst we're at the top chart there. So they've looked at it, and immediately this came out. Tanzania doesn't want to be, because they know that Ethiopia Airline is going to completely take over the investment climate. So they are establishing it directly. So it's not, Ethiopia Airlines may not be able to cover Tanzania because they have actually used their own national carrier to establish that connectivity between Nigeria, where the market is, and East African continent, and the East African bloc. So that's what they are looking at, and they are equally looking at what Doc talked about, the economic perspective in it, in terms of movement of these passengers to and from the eastern part of Africa to the southern part of Africa to the western part of Africa. They are looking at all that, and they're putting that into consideration. Now, this is one of the reasons why those who are clamoring for the birth of a national carrier in Nigeria were looking at. Because trust me, all the monies that will be made from 60 million or 110 million travelers within the continent of Africa, how much of that is Nigeria going to get? How much of that is the Nigerian market going to get with aviation, Nigerian domestic airlines? How much of that are they going to get? Are these routes that apply? Or probably they'll be looking at that perspective. But who are they going to be competing with? They're going to be competing with the likes of South African Airways. They're going to be competing with the likes of the Ethiopian Airways. And they're going to be competing with the likes of the Moroccan Air, Egyptian Air.
Why are you not mentioning Airpeace?
Airpeace, okay, fine. No, because that's the only domestic airline in Nigeria that we can see doing very well, that can match
it's
some.
Not just domestic. They do
international. They are the ones.
Asma does international.
Chooks, you don't really want to go into details of that, including the major one that you just mentioned, and how I have heard domestic.
Leave hearing.
Okay, no, we cannot live here. We are journalists. Just a moment. We are journalists, and we converse with people who use these services.
They should.
And they give them misgivings.
These are Nigerian.
Fine. No, great, good. And we are looking at competitiveness.
Okay.
We are looking at competitiveness, and that is very, very key for business. So we must look at upgrading, because Ethiopia Airways is upgrading at a massive level, and they are upscaling in a way that their competitors will find it emasculating to meet up with that.
Emasculating, that's a serious word.
Well, in my view, it's a little different, because each country has a control over their airspace, and they can determine who run and who do not run. Yes, of course, Ethiopia Airlines has been there, and they've done massively well in terms of their ability to maintain their fleet of aircraft. I think they're about 180 now, thereabout. So it's massive. And it's even one of their cash cow.
Yes, it is.
In terms of revenue generation and the rest of it. Tanzania has the right to fly into anywhere as long as they can
get the permit.
Put the cards on the table, and there's a win-win. What that also may mean is just like the little Rwanda did, by opening their doors to a lot of people to enter. The principle of visa-free transactions. So people get visa on arrival and make the process very less cumbersome. There are a lot of Nigerian young people who want to move out, even to anywhere, as long as it's not within our borders. Some people are even ready to live in Chad, as long as it's called overseas. So, I think the MOU is just one hand of it. The profitability of the business is where my concern is. So they should open their doors to young Nigerians who are willing to move, and let the process be as flexible as possible, that people don't need to go break bank before they can enter into Tanzania. In that case, it can become really lucrative, that there's flow of passengers on both sides. Nigeria is a massive country. Tanzania has a lot to benefit from us.
Yes.
But I think that they should open their door for those free entries and let Nigeria find opportunities to help that country to grow also.
Nigeria find opportunities to help the country to grow. Okay, let's get to what's happening again. So for those that are wondering, let's want to tell you this. Nigeria produced an average of 1,507 million barrels per day in June, surpassing its OPEC quota for the second month in a row. According to the group's latest report, the figure based on direct submissions from Nigerian authorities was slightly higher than the June 1st 1,505 million barrels, and kept Nigeria ahead of Algeria as Africa's top producer. How good is this news?
Good news. I saw that yesterday. At least we are getting close to 2.2 million barrels daily. Nigeria is getting better. We are drilling, and I just pray that we continue to drill.
Okay.
It sounds like Donald Trump.
Blocking wastage.
Nigeria is getting close to 2.2. Wait, let me just tell you what it is. 2.2 million barrels daily. We're drilling, we keep drilling, and we are getting... This sounds very much like Donald Trump.
How much of wastage are we coping? How much should we cop the more? And should we start looking at Bauchi, Gombe, and just tell them, hey, guys, go and start drilling?
Former President Muhammadu Buhari really started the drilling and exploratory activities in the northern part of the country. We need to get massive feedback from all the monies that we've pumped into that project.
There is a rig there already.
There is. So what's the actual feedback? The actual feedback, does it spell loss or potential profit? We need to pay attention to that, and we are not.
Okay.
We're just saying continue drilling, and the current administration is promoting that, continuing. But what I want to believe that is getting reports and feedback from Ekpo and Heineken, Lokobri, and all the. So
we have Dangote that is importing
yes
food from Angola, from US.
Yes.
How can we drill more, and at least even if it's half what is importing, and still meet up?
Well, quota? I think it's good news. What we're talking about is good news. But I think the progress we're making are just too marginal, too insignificant. Yes, 200,000 barrels in addition. Listen, I think it is marginal, and we can do more.
Okay. While we look at doing more, let's get straight to our next story. Now, over 65% of petrol, PMS, consumed in Nigeria in June 2025 was imported. Let us think. Now, according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, July's report to the Federation Account Allocation Committee, out of 1.478 billion liters consumed during the month, just 455.2 million liters came from local refineries, while 1.023 billion liters were sourced abroad. Okay, that's huge.
It's very huge. Not good.
Okay, you say not good. Doc is looking at you and saying,
well,
define not good.
It's huge, and I think we're gradually getting out of wholesale dependence on imported petroleum. That for me is positive, and we cannot, like they say, Rome wasn't built in one day. Once a journey of 20,000 miles will always start with a step. So we are gradually moving, and a lot is happening, and we are hopeful that by 2027 we could be free and not entirely dependent for petrol supply from outside. And don't forget that some of our people too have investment in some of these facilities. It was rumored the other time that the blending plant in Malta, that they are owned by some Nigerians. And if we have those investments on the outside, where petrol are being produced, where some of our sons and daughters have invested in refining products, we can't shut our market to them completely. So for me, it's not too bad in news.
I like Doc. In fact, the businessmen that are in the diaspora, I'm sure, you've not been around for a while. So that is good, actually.
What is good?
No, he was talking about how Nigerians who own businesses outside the country, buying the crude, what's it called now, refining it, and Nigeria is calling the market where they are shipping it down for it to be sold, and we must not shut the doors. Of course, they are good. They are sons and daughters of the soil, and they have rights. They are business people. It needs to be promoted. But we need to consolidate our local production. We are looking forward to most of the refineries that are being built currently, and the modular refineries that are being erected across the country, for them to come consolidate on the strength of our local production and how this will be able to attract more. But the thing is, the NNPCL, how much they give to Dangote, 650,000 barrels capacity refinery, and all modular refineries, and the new ones that are coming into place, I think there's going to be a massive of deficit if we do not get to above the 2 million mark that Mr. President has earmarked for 2025. If we do not meet that before June 2026,
we have to outdo what we are doing right now.
In fact, when we need to exceed 2 million before June 2026, we need to be 2.5 million before June or June 2026, because if not, the deficit is going to be massive, and all the modular refineries, including the major refineries that are coming into the stream right now, what would they be doing? They're going to be importing from where? The United States and from Angola or some African countries, and what we are importing is not crude. Okay, if they're going
what are they importing?
If they import crude, if they are going to import crude, and the import duty is going to be on the high side, they cannot fund.
Okay,
they are going to diversify to importing finished product, because they need to supplement for their businesses to survive.
No one,
and that is not going to be
no
good.
one is going to import finished.
No, I'm not forecasting evil. I'm just trying to point out both the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, let's keep the good. Our last story for today. We won't dwell on it that much. Now, the unemployment rate among Black Americans rose to 7.2% in July, the highest level since the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic in October 2021, far above the national average of 4.2%. According to the new U.S. Department of Labor data, Black women have been hardest hit, with more than 300,000 losing jobs in the first half of the year. Experts warn the trend could signal a slowing economy, as Black workers are often among the first laid off in downturns due to higher representation in temporary and low-wage jobs. Okay. Why do we want to end on this note?
Well, it's quite nice that US is also feeling the hits of some of the things that are now looking like things that are self-inflicted, which is the fact that you want to build an economy that is supposedly independent of other communities. We've said this over and over. Yes, tariff is good, but the need for Donald Trump to realize that the reception does not belong to one person is quite important. So he needs to slow down. I saw a poll done by Dr. Patrick Bashar, director of the Democratic Institute, early this morning, how people feel about his response to India and the American perception, and how they feel that he's also is able to affect the living condition in America. Because what happens is that if your country is not able to meet up with creating an environment that businesses are profitable, people will cut jobs. And when you are cutting jobs, the jobs that goes first are the regular jobs. And that's where you find plenty of people, black skin. And so you see, if your budget is coming down, what do you do first? You first drop your house help.
And help yourself.
Yes, and try to help yourself. So these are the kind of things that, no thanks to robotics now, that even can carry serviette from one room to the other. And we don't need human beings to do that assignment. And robot cannot be tired. It can't go on leave.
It's always there.
It's working 24/7. I'm happy to do it. As long as you turn on the light, it's moving.
Okay, we are almost rounding up. Now, Donald Trump had issues with the monthly job data. He said there were some discrepancies to it. Somebody within the those within the cabinet said, no, we will still continue publishing the monthly job data. Now we are seeing this as a spin-off of the continuous policy be it the tariff wars, be it some other policies, and a segment of the society is taking the brunt. Do you think he should start stepping back or take his leg off the pedal of this tariff is slamming around?
I think for now, what the Trump administration is doing is still watching the consequences that are unfolding.
While your people are losing jobs.
You must know that this is a businessman. There are gains to be made. There are prices to be paid. So he's weighing it as we speak. I think that's what he's doing. Because if you speak to him and tell him about the consequences of his, or the downside of his policies, economic policies, and the way he's been handling the relationship between America and its allies, he would tell you the profits and the gains that he's making. And he would turn your attention down there. And so he's looking at both sides.
You know, so gains and profits are for the living, right?
Yes. Then most of these jobs that are being lost, fine, regular. And sometimes these people, some of them are not being fired. Some of them, what's been taken away from them was through the other policy that came with the immigration policy, who have been forcefully removed from their places of work because of the immigration clampdown of undocumented workers and all of that too. Though he came out with a $5,000 pittance to give, but it doesn't look like it worked. So that in itself had its own contribution to the negative of what is currently going on. Recently with India, we thought India backpedaled and cut some of the volume of its importation of the Russian oil. And it's still importing from the United States as well.
Self-preservation comes first.
Self-preservation. I never knew India would do that.
Okay.
Because I thought it had the capacity like China. But it actually backpedaled. But you know what? It didn't actually backpedal in the void. It went and gave loans to domestic organizations and spoke to the Indians to make sure that they patronize made in Indian products, to make sure that they buy made in Indian product, that their efforts to be channeled towards that and do little with foreign imported goods into the country. So that in itself is giving cushioning effect to the Indian economy. However, we are watching to see how far Mr. Trump is going to go with this and where it's going to end, literally.
Okay, we are watching to see where President Donald Trump will go with this. That is
your president?
I said that's priestic.
President Donald Trump.
When you said our president,
did
Donald
I go
Trump?
our? No, I
didn't say
I can't go our. No, there can only be one president in this vicinity.
I think he's going to go through the well-documented route if you're looking at that. Yes.
That's well noted.
Yes.
You're welcome back.
So I would have called immigration for you immediately.
Thank you very much. It's been nice having you today on SBL. I want to say thank you very much to everyone out there. Remember, you can join us. Follow us on all social media platforms, just Souk TV, and we will be in your space. For everyone out there, remember, even if the rains didn't come heavy yesterday or today, still be cautious. Avoid stagnant water and cover up the children. Open up those drains. Don't clog them. My name is Chooks, John Rogers Chooks. Be the best version of you. We'll do this again tomorrow. Thank you. Pray.
Yes, good morning to you once again. Many thanks for watching. And do have yourself a splendid day.
Doc.
It was nice being here. Keep investing. There's always a time to sow, and harvest is always sure. See you tomorrow.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is Souk business landscape.